Can people see us?
There it is.
Y'all are so
Now they can if
Oh,
they're
no.
starting to not if they haven't joined yet. Okay, I'm terrible with these USBs and how to open it. Let's see. File.
There's a lady for a kick.
Is this are these the files on the?
Oh, so it's the 2025 revised. There we go.
Okay, hi, welcome to Mentor.
You want?
Oh,
Yeah, go
she
ahead.
said if you want. Yeah, I actually
think
borrowed
that-
that flash
I'll
drive
take
from a
it.
friend because at the last minute, I'm like, I do not have
And
the flash drive. I
drives are
thought I did.
nothing.
I know. Well, and he's a photographer, so I'm not even sure what cool stuff is on that, but I saw
Oh.
some like things from Gibbs Gardens and other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna add mine, add mine to it. So,
Oh. So after the introductions, that's when I could maybe run up here and like start the presentation. This thing usually works. It's a clicker
okay.
for the
Yeah, I was about to
slides,
say,
but I don't know if it doesn't.
A PowerPoint in a while, so.
So maybe I
you
could
can
stand
help
up
me.
here for you, and when you're ready for the next slide, I don't know.
Oh, okay, because that's
'Cause
not,
I don't think. Okay. Let's see, maybe. Like.
because I could even, if I end up needing to click it, I can do that. If I remember. Curious asked if you would take a couple of pictures.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
well, and-
That was the
And
camera
June's gonna do it too. Maybe you
Okay.
could do one right
Be a
now
team.
before we get started. And then June
Yes.
was gonna take a couple.
Absolutely.
Let me
get you, tell me where you want.
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm actually gonna go to a funeral visitation after this, even though it's not dressy, but it's.
Let's see. Here, I'll hold this.
Okay.
Oh, well, we'll mention it.
We'll see.
That's okay. Okay. Tell me when.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, good
Hello,
morning.
hey,
Hi, good morning.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Hey, June, will you get one of
You
these?
get one of me?
Oh, good, okay.
Oh, that's looking beautiful.
Look how good she writes. I know. She's worked on it.
Good
She
heavens.
really has.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, that's a great
How are you?
idea.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, hey. All right, so listen.
You get one of me and your mom right here.
Oh, yeah. Here, wait, do we want to turn? That'd be cute.
Oops. There we go.
If we can get that in there, but.
Yeah, I'm gonna need.
Hers shows me.
I'm gonna need this out, this thumb drive.
Oh, okay.
So
If
can you,
her
can we just save it on the can we just save it on the desktop then?
Oh, sorry, I'm right.
Oh, no, it's all right. No worries.
Is that this Mentor Me thing?
Yes.
Okay.
1.
I'm gonna save it on the desktop.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
I can pull
Bud.
that out.
Oh, thank you so much.
She's such a good writer.
Good job, baby.
So funny, I always sit on
And then
that
all
side.
that's on here.
For 13 years, I've sat on that side.
Yeah, that's all we're
Right
using.
here.
it up?
I know.
Is this where I sit right here?
Let's see, Alicia's there, I guess you can sit there and.
Alrighty.
Here's the.
Okay, thank you.
Pick it up.
I'm closer to the ground.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Oh, so now it's,
It does work.
wait, I guess we have to see the Zoom first.
Yeah, I'll
and
turn it,
then-
I'll close it out. I just wanted to make sure it's working.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah.
Good, how are you?
Oh, okay. So once I do from beginning, then this will work, this clicker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes there's a problem where Zoom can't see it when you do slideshows, so just make sure they can see the
Okay.
slideshow
Oh,
first.
glad to
but-
see you. Is the job going well?
But,
Yeah.
They should, yeah.
thank you.
Just a lot to learn.
Uh,
Yeah, we're almost full, which is good.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of new leadership, new CEO, new clinical
Hi, good
director.
morning.
There was nobody there in my position when I got there, kind of. So it's,
To find your way.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
drinking from a fire hydrant.
Oh, wonderful. I am actually a speaker this morning, so I will pass.
Sorry.
No, no, no
Sorry.
worries.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
I'll let Miss Alicia help you with that. Well, congrats on an award. That's awesome. Those are fun.
Hi, Rebecca. This is Sophia Britt. She won the
Oh,
contest for the training, so.
Yeah, Coach Tom's gonna be here and she'll present.
How are y'all?
Yes.
So after that introduction.
Alright, how do I log?
She's the like that. She did.
How do I log?
I'll introduce you and then we can. We'll wrap it up.
Sit on the different side. I don't want everybody on.
Yeah. Okay. So just whenever we're getting started.
Yeah.
That's Rachel's daughter. Very proud.
I mean, whatever works. I know when I talked to Rachel back in February, she said it's depending on who is in there.
Sitting over here for a change.
Hi.
I know.
Hey, I've got this. You know,
I wish I knew how to.
Oh,
I'm just saying, let's see, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is just a nice conversation, and I know I have the PowerPoint,
but.
13 years, I said.
Ralph is getting used today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know. They don't trust.
Well, I figured I would do it right before she, yeah, so that way I have to do the scripts listed and also with the fireworks. Thank you so much. This makes it fun in the back. Well, and they said, yeah, they said, it's like, you don't just do the donuts, I just donut and the cone, but then if you do anything else. Take a
Do the share screen now.
Oh, he's like. No. He is a Staffordshire. Yes.
So do I will just click this, the right button, once you pull it up for me? Is that right?
Yep, it should click the slides. If not, I'll just jump in here and
Okay,
do it.
all right.
Hey, I saved your seat. I'm sitting over here for a change.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband, the windows. Anything that was level. Yeah.
Oh, really? Rachel, this is my friend Julie real quick.
Hi,
Julie. Hi, I'll be there just a second. Aw, so usually my Monday night Bible study. I mean, we've been together for so long. Oh, that's wonderful.
I know.
Oh, so yours is.
It's a load.
So she's like.
Okay, yeah, I saw
So
you.
we're waiting. It's just Chinese broke yesterday.
Oh, your wife is black. If I didn't have to, it would also. Cool. Yeah.
They were gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess I'll just sit here. Yeah.
Oh, just do that?
Yeah, I just want these down. Yeah.
Yeah, you're part of the prize for.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest encourager. The biggest. Yeah. Just going to. I was like, but she said so. She's got the right Oh, really? So here's all the. Oh, really? Oh, so you're like camping. Wow, that's a real family trip. That's a very close knit family trip.
That's my.
It'll be good. Well, how many days? 4 days. Yeah, that's not bad. You wouldn't want to do that for like 10 days. Like, yeah. Yes. We should do something like that. Yeah, I know. If you like your like, sometimes it's like just right on the ocean. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that crush is better than mine. Oh, really? Like, that's like, yes, well, even right now, yeah, I texted him. He was at the after graduation table for bachelor. That was like, they were out in the field. But again, we're knowing it's. But that's like the leadership. I mean, it should be. Yeah, they do so many. Oh my God, I don't know.
All right, everyone, I guess we'll get started. I don't know. This is a pretty good turnout. I know, there's a lot of people here for July 2nd. Well, I'm Alicia. I help Rachel with the Portsmouth County Drug Council. I do the project coordinating. She just had her baby, this little Cooper. So we're happy about that. And yeah, I guess reach out to me if you guys need anything for the next little bit, just to give her some time. And then I have a couple other announcements before we get into it, but so there's, I guess, an event going on with the Connection it's a parent supporting recovery event, July 19th. So I'll send out a flyer for that event. There's the Forsyth Community Clinic event, which is basically for like bettering mental health and things like depression, anxiety, things like that, on July 12th. So I'll send out a flyer for that as well. And then we have some awesome youth projects going on right now with a billboard for opioids. So they're kind of deciding on what they want to choose for that. And they're working with like the drug take back program too. So the youth got some cool projects going on. And then the parent projects that we have going on, we're just getting with into the schools for orientations. So just trying to get in there with that. And then I'm gonna pass around the sign-in sheet. I don't have the fancy iPad today. So if it's your first meeting here, just add your phone number and email so that we can add you to the email thread that goes out. And then, yeah, we'll just start with some introductions, the name, who you're with, and then any announcements or upcoming events that you guys might have. That way I can put it on the emails and get it out there. So let's start with.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Rachel Kuhn, and I am with Mentor Me North Georgia. And I'm just honored to be here this morning. I get to share a little bit about our nonprofit and organization that we have here in the community. So I'll share more about that later. I've got two kiddos, a son that just graduated from Forsyth Central, and he's headed to UGA. And I've got this amazing daughter right here. She's here to help me this morning, bright and early, and she's headed into 6th grade. So we've been in the community for about 22 years. So thank you for having me.
I'm Susan Tanner, and she's the reason I mentor. So I love mentoring with Rachel, and you'll hear more about what she does. But I'm the stepmom of 2 addicts when I was doing better. And let's see what else. I do mentor at 3 or 4 schools, and I'm on the board of Prodigal Child Ministries with Julie. And then we have a Monday Night Moms group.
I'm Julie Cordry. I am a mom to a son who has addiction issues, and my husband and I lead Prodigal Child Ministries, which is a ministry for parents. We support parents and siblings who have a sibling or a child with addiction or mental health issues.
All right, hi, I'm Kirsten Banks, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and certified interventionist, and I am the founder of a company called Therapeutic Recovery Network. We're a group practice. We do counseling, coaching, interventions, and also we have a free parent support group that has been around for a while, going on, I don't know, like maybe 14 years or so, which is crazy to imagine. And so that meets on Thursday nights, and that's a free parent support group from 7 to 9, Parent Recovery Network. So, and if you need any info, that's all like on our website. You can sign up to come or refer someone.
And I highly recommend that support group. It has changed my life. So.
Oh.
Sarah Pedre, I'm the director of Forsyth County Community Connection, which is the Georgia Family Connection Partnership for Forsyth County. I sit on the advisory board for the council. We have a couple of things coming up. July 18th at Beaver Toyota, we have a big backpack event for families. It's originally for like foster families and our families and family preservation, but it's open for any family that would need school supplies. We have a whole bunch of partners there, the pajamas, books, backpacks, school supplies, lunch. But you can register for that so you know that you're coming. And then August 23rd, we have our Booze and Q charity event out at Kinsey Family Farms. It's for adults only, but there's weather permitting, tethered hot air balloon rides, there's axe throwing, there's good barbecue food, great silent auction, live music, so that's a lot of fun. So I encourage you guys all to buy tickets.
You want to catch these people?
Sure.
I'm Amy Ballard. I'm with CASA Forsyth. Been with them for a couple months now, so it's my first drug council meeting, so I'm glad to be here.
For the school project.
Hi, my name is Vicky.
I'm Dana Bryan, and I'm a former middle school teacher. So welcome to middle school. And I'm here because my daughter, because of heroin addiction.
I'm Katie Lamberson. I'm the Executive Director of the Child Advocacy Center here in Passaic County. I also sit on the advisory board for the council.
Hi, my name is Akita. I'm a rising senior at Lambert High School, and I'm the founder of Georgia Youth Writers Collective. It's one of the partners for the writing contest that occurred over the course of this month. So congratulations. I'm so happy you are here. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. It's my first drug council meeting.
Hey, I'm Adam Miller, Director of Business Development for Blue Ridge Mountain Recovery Center. That's pretty new since the last time I was at a meeting. I'm also on the board for the council.
Hello, I'm Emily Dent. I am here because I grew up in Forsyth County. I started using drugs in Forsyth County, and now I'm in recovery here. And I work at Twin Lakes Recovery Center. We have an outpatient in Gainesville, probably about 30 minutes from here, and then our residential program in Monroe.
I'm Dawn Hooper. I am within, I guess, a month now, the outreach coordinator with the DROP, which is under Family, Forsyth Family Connection. And it's basically a wraparound service. You can add more to it. A wraparound service for youth 24 or 18 to 24 that are homeless or risk of homelessness. And I'm also a licensed mental health therapist. And I was a social worker in the schools for years, so I recognize that. So I'm glad to be doing social work.
I'm Abigail Boobin. I am the case manager at the DROP, so we're super excited to have Dawn on. It's been a very exciting process the past month. Yeah, she basically touched on it, but at the DROP, we serve unaccompanied homeless youth 18 to 24. So we provide wraparound services. We don't provide the actual housing, but we do partner with different community members and try to just create a holistic approach.
I'm Kirtana. I'm a member of the Forsyth County Drug Awareness Youth Council, and this, probably what you heard around the corner, is my 2025 Voices for Change Literacy Project. My name is Nevertheless, and I took part in the writing contest, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity. It was a really fun way to express myself, and I really believe in the initiative to try and raise drug awareness.
I guess we'll hop to our Zoom people. Gabby, do you want to introduce yourself?
So it's actually Maureen. Gabby and I share Zoom at Live Life Counseling. So hey guys. And I can't see what you look like because anyway, I can't get my Zoom to work right. But anyway, so my name is Maureen, and I'm an LCSW, and I'm the owner of Live Life Counseling and Live Life Sober. And I'm so thankful to announce that we are officially in network with United Healthcare, Cigna, with Humana, Oscar, and then we're in the final stages with all the Medicaid CMOs and Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I'm so pumped. And Live Life Counseling has an intensive outpatient program for youth at night and then adults during the day. And we also got awarded the Plan a Safe Care grant. So if you have a teen or if you have a woman who is pregnant and has been identified to have substance abuse issues, we do offer scholarships for our program. So I'm really excited. And we even can do level 2 or drug and alcohol assessment. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Our building is under construction, so we're tearing down walls and making bigger group rooms. And we're just excited to serve everyone. So I'm sad I couldn't be there in person.
Okay, Shreejan.
Did you say Miriam?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Miriam, certified addiction counselor and mom of a young boy that'll be starting kindergarten in Forsyth County Schools next month.
All right, Jenny's.
She doesn't answer. I will say she's also with Mentor Me.
Oh, awesome.
North Georgia.
Did
Yes.
I say her name right?
She, do what?
Did I say her name right?
Janice.
Janice,
Yeah.
okay.
So she's over our one-to-one mentoring program, which I'll elaborate on a little bit.
Okay, awesome. Manosby? What about Todd?
Yeah, Todd's here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. This is Todd Shiflett. I'm the Executive Director of Georgia Highlands Healthcare for the Uninsured, including mental health and substance abuse services, including MAT services now as well.
Awesome. Okay, did I miss anybody?
Hey, Alicia, the ones on the back over there.
They're for the Her Youth
Oh, are they?
Project.
Okay, sorry.
So they're,
I didn't hear them speak. So I was-
okay, so let me figure out, I'm gonna change it. So today we have Miss Rachel here from Mentor Me. Before we get into that, we're gonna do you want to present the awards for everybody? You can go first. Wilfred. So she did a project, Voices for Change, so they're gonna get some awards real quick.
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Ankita. I'm Kirtana, yes, we love. You're a rising sophomore, yeah. Okay, perfect. So this was her idea, but she worked with me to make it happen. So she's a member of the events and outreach team of the collective that I recently started back in April. And she pitched this, worked on it, and did like almost a lot of the work. I did some of the social media, guys. I definitely helped, I promise. And I went through some of the submissions as well. She's literally amazing. I'm so proud of her. And I would love to both recognize her explaining her project, and then after that have the winners read out some of their pieces.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason I got this idea for this project in general is because it combines like both of my passions, which is like advocacy against drug awareness and like reading and writing, and like writing in general, because ever since I was a little girl, I was just always writing and reading, just an avid writer and reader. So I was like, so I wanted to like make a literacy contest, and like hopefully with all of these winners, and like maybe we could do this every year and have an annual literacy contest. That'd be great too. And it was just like a way to like get these people to like write about their passions, like stories of hope and resilience, like poetry. There's 2 pieces of poetry out in the room, and there's a narrative piece that's really beautiful. And I'm really glad to be presenting all of these pieces. I'm so proud of all of the winners and all of their pieces of work.
Yeah, we can take pictures, but I also want them to like also perform it if they want to.
Yeah.
This is, yeah. So I'd like to introduce our first place
Evelyn.
winner, Evelyn. How do you last name? Evelyn Cho. Your piece was Professor Snake. Would you like to read it? A little bit?
I'll read a little bit.
Okay,
It's
yes.
pretty long.
You got it.
Or I can give a summary.
You can, that's totally fine, do.
Okay, so the piece that I wrote was Professor Snake. It was about this inhumane experiment that was run on a bunch of students in this neuroscience Professor Snako's class. And basically what he did was, after every single lecture, he gave them all starbursts that were infused with a tasteless and odorless drug. And the purpose of that was because he just wanted to explore the effects and like just see what happened. And what the main character, Gabriella, she doesn't like starbursts, and her neighbor keeps stealing them. So she's kind of like an outsider looking in on the effects of the drugs, and she sees like a huge change in her classmates. So especially her best friend Zara begins avoiding her. She begins acting guilty and sneaky, and Gabriella eventually finds out that she's joined with a gang, and she's wrapped up in a plot to steal the starbursts. And another thing that she notices is that before her classmates are given starbursts, they're like zombies. They're all dead inside, and they're really tired. And then after they eat the starburst, they're suddenly all high and just really wild. So she she puts two and two together and she realizes that these are no normal starbursts. Those aren't the kinds of things that you would break into a professor's room to steal. And she figures out, along with her friend Zara, that they're actually infused with drugs. And she works together with Zara to catch Professor Smiko in the act. And then Professor Smiko is taken into custody and he's interrogated and he admits to the whole thing. He says that he did it in the name of science. And then he's taken into custody and the people that are affected, they protest against it because of course they don't want the drugs to be taken away. They'll have withdrawal symptoms and everything. But they're sent into rehab and eventually they're all recovering. And in the end, this character, Chrissy, who was part of the gang, but she was like not really that supportive of stealing the Starburst. She says a pretty powerful line. She says, "You don't need to be drunk or high to have a fun time. You just need to truly enjoy life for what it is, not a heightened picture of it." I think nowadays with all the media circling around how like party life, you know, where you drink lots of alcohol, and you might even take drugs just to have fun and to be cool. It's really meaningful to find someone who just enjoys life rather than has to rely on some sort of substance just to feel like they're cool or have fun.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. Our next and second place winner is The Light That Brings Them Home by Sophia Britt. Sorry, not The Light That Brings Them Home. Why is it? Okay. It literally says her name. Needle in a Haystack by Sophia Britt. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to summarize, you can as well.
I'd rather just say it.
Oh, go for it. You got this.
I'm sorry if my voice trembles. I kind of have social anxiety, so here's Needle in a Haystack. I don't like greeting people with a handshake. My veins tend to tremble when they aren't met with silver. There's something in the pressure of another's touch that reminds me of how empty mine has become. How my flesh becomes porcelain after being abused too many times. My house is clean. My language is clearer now. I speak the words self-control and grateful, as if pronouncing them is the same as feeling them. I lie and say that I'm clean to feel worthy of life. I don't let my family over because I'm afraid they'll notice that the spoons don't match and that some are missing. I keep my windows cracked to air out the candle burned too low and the chemicals that live in the bathroom. I fear them realizing how far from human I truly am. I'm not ready to watch that trust leave my grasp. They don't see the way I count hours instead of days. I promise them that it's been a while, but I never show them that my arm is still bleeding. The hours drag behind me pose as chains from a clock I can't stop hearing, and I know the sound of a demand. I know the rhythm of terror when it marches, disguised as routine. I hold my breath when I'm asked about the future, because I'm still living in the silence between doses. That weightless gap where time stretches, and every second without it drowns me in guilt. I press my fingers to my wrist after every shot, continuously checking my pulse to see if it's quiet yet. The closest I ever get is passing out after doing more injections. They say finding a needle in a haystack is impossible, that if you were to lose it, you'll never see it again, that the world is too expansive to ever find it. I'm not along in agreement, acting as someone who's forgotten, but I know what an alien I am. The needle always finds its way back. It doesn't get lost in the hay. It waits when you're suffering the most. And even when I smile, even when I say I've moved on, my arms still bear blue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I think it's the early morning. My head is not where it should be. But our last and third place would be The Light That Brings Them Home by 50 Megan. Rogan. Okay, I got you. Would you like to read it or would you just like to summarize it?
I can read it.
Okay, perfect. If you want to introduce yourself to me.
Hi, my name is Dippy Rogan. I'm a rising junior at Denmark High School. I wrote this poem, The Light That Brings Them Home, based on the stories of some people around me. And I'll just read the poem. When I was little, Mom and Dad would sit at the counter for hours, telling stories of young love, magic that felt unbreakable. But things changed. Laughter grew quiet, joy started to fade, and then he became distant. There, but not really there. Mom's eyes grew heavy with sadness. His eyes always red. I didn't understand, but I always knew it felt deep inside. The man who told me stories, the man who taught me how to ride my bike, was gone. Not dead, but gone to me. I watched him lose his job, lose himself, while Mom tried to hold the pieces together. But then she saw me. She smiled, pretending all was fine. The house felt empty, full of broken promises and smoke. Some nights I'd hear them fight, Mom yelling and begging, crying for forgiveness, hoping it would end. But the next day, it all repeated again. I wanted to hate him, to be mad, but I remembered the man who held my hand when I was scared. He wanted to get better. He just didn't know how. Somewhere deep down, I believe he's still fighting, and that one day, the man I knew will come back, not just in stories, but in real life. Because even when addiction takes someone away, hope can be the light that brings them home. Thank you.
That concludes essentially the contest. We are probably going to have this again next year, hopefully. It will be really fun if we can, yes. And if you guys would be interested in any sort of way in helping us broaden its range, it's like social media and stuff like that, that would be amazing. Feel free to talk to me or to about it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we have Rachel Kern here from Mentor Me. She's gonna be presenting and speaking for us today, so. Welcome.
Thank you so much, everybody, for having me here this morning. I've been in many different spaces in this community with this job, but I must say, being in this space, I don't know, I feel very humbled and I feel very honored to be here with you. So I've never sat or come to this meeting before. I went to the Full Circle event with Susan a couple of years ago and was really touched by that when some of the parents were on a panel and some of the kids were as well. And so just to be here with you now and to know what some of you have walked through, I just want you to know that I want to do the best job I can in holding that space as well, while I'm also sharing a little bit about what we do. So, okay. So I'll tell you real quickly what I do and then some of the neat things that I have brought with me. So I am the youth program director for Mentor Me North Georgia. And I run something called Connect Clubs. And my dear friend Susan, thank you for inviting me to come do this. She volunteers with the Connect program. And what we do specifically is go into the schools here in Forsyth County during the school day. And we run a program for about 45 minutes. We usually play a team building activity because, as you may know, I think just anytime we can get our students, whether it's elementary, middle, or high, to just kind of relax their shoulders, take a deep breath, look at their peers, make that eye contact, look around the room and recognize like, okay, you know, like I can still be a kid, you know? So we do a team building activity, hopefully give them a chance to connect with their peers that they might not know. They might have some friends in there and it gives them a great chance to just socialize as well in a safe space. We then have relevant conversations with them. So depending on the age group we're with at the time, we'll talk about things that, that the counselors have either said, this is kind of a hot topic right now, can you address this? Which, as you might imagine, a lot of those are social media conversations, proper cell phone usage conversations, things like that. Sometimes the high schoolers will go, can you please talk about dating? Can you please talk about healthy boundaries and what that looks like? And so we'll do that. I also go to Gateway Academy, which honestly is one of my absolute favorite experiences. I have a small group of girls, about 10, and then we do the same with the guys group, and I bring in some male mentors to help me with that. And a lot of them will just get really real because they're obviously at a point where they're like, okay, you know, I want to do what I have to do to transition from here to get back where I want to be and to start reaching some goals. And so they'll say, can you talk about this? Can you talk about what it's like to maybe like work through something difficult, whether it's an addiction or a bad relationship, to get to the other side of it? What are the practical steps? And so I love that I get to be, in any small way, a facilitator of those types of conversations, because that's real life, right? I mean, yes, all the subjects are important. They all matter. And it's so crucial that we are connecting with our kids on a social and an emotional level, and giving them an opportunity to be honest, to share from their heart, to be able to say like, hey, I could use maybe a mentor in my life. So on that note, I do have a gift card, because as Susan knows, we love to give out gift cards. So it's actually 2 cards for Chick-fil-A. And I wanted to give this out to somebody today. And I knew I would be talking, or I assumed I would be talking to adults. But even so, I just wanted to ask, who in this room currently has somebody that they consider a mentor? It doesn't have to officially be like, yes, I call them mentor, but someone that you consistently look up to, where you're like, okay, I know this person is a little bit ahead of me in this area of my life, and this is who I call, or this is who I text, or this is who I ask to go out with when I need something poured into me, when I need some wise counsel. You do? Will you remind me your name? Sorry.
Adam.
Adam, awesome. Will you tell us a little bit about that real quick, what that looks like for you?
Yeah,
And hey,
so-
win this. So kudos to you for having a mentor in your life.
Sweet. Yeah, mentor, sponsor, kind of, he's worn many hats in our relationships.
Yeah.
So he was my counselor when I got into treatment.
Okay.
And then years later, we were coworkers and kind of equals at that point, and then we became friends.
Okay.
And then, he's got a lot of years in recovery. He's very wise.
Yeah.
He loves me enough to tell me stuff I don't want to hear, but need to hear.
Yes.
And I know that he loves me. So when he gives me some feedback that stings a little bit, it's easier to swallow. And he married my wife and I.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yep. And I have a couple other ones too, in just different areas of life. My wise counsel is what I call them.
Yes.
That I look to in different facets of life for advice or insight, kind of check me on my thinking of, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I think. What do you think?
Yes. Wow. I absolutely love that. And that's priceless, right?
Yeah.
And so is that particular gentleman you mentioned, is he someone that if you did kind of have an emergency, or you felt yourself in any sort of way, just feeling like I might be tempted to do whatever, you could call him at any time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Without a fear of judgment. I can be vulnerable.
Okay.
It's an intimate relationship, right? Like I can be vulnerable with him.
Yeah.
And not fear it being one, that it would push him away, or two, that he would like weaponize it and use it against me.
Yes.
Which I think is vital in those relationships.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And that's a really beautiful thing. And so whenever you get the chance to share that, especially with other guys, and maybe you do share that all the time, but I think we as adults need to hear that. We need to hear that none of us are above needing someone that we can talk to, that is that voice of wise counsel, that may say that thing, that isn't always just gonna like give us the stroke we want, right? But in love might say something like, have you considered this? Have you thought about how that might impact your kids, how that might impact your spouse, or whatever it may be, right? So that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope that continues for the rest of your life. Yeah. And so on that note, Mentor Me North Georgia, mentor is just a trusted role model or support. And I know you all recognize and know what a mentor is, but for us, that's everything. And so we have 3 parts to our organization. And before I get into what those are real quick, I did want to make this, I wanted you to be able to have something to see of what we give to our students. So you'll notice I've got the folders here. They have the impact reports in them, which is going to contain a lot of the content up here. I'm not going to go through it all because I know you can read it. And I want it to be a little more conversational and laid back. So you're welcome to look at all the stats in there. That's our most up-to-date info. But then a little, if I could mark this real quick. I've got this because we give this to a lot of our students when we show up. We'll give them like little packets of different things. We'll give them sometimes candy, right? Food goes a long way. But these are Wiki sticks. Does anybody know what they are?
Have you ever used these? My daughter does, yes. Well, we first discovered them at Ted's Montana Grill. You know, like when they give kids like a coloring sheet or whatever, well, they would give wiki sticks. And at first we're like, what is that? But they're the coolest thing. So I actually encourage you right now, if you will, open up the package, take them out, and you'll see there's a little printout on here that says you can spin them, shape them, create them however you want. And these are just a great fidget, right? For honestly, for anybody, not just for the students, but for adults if we need them. They are a little sticky, but I promise they're new, they're clean. But I just encourage you, maybe just while I'm sharing, if you want, you're welcome to fidget with them. You're welcome to maybe create something with the ones that you were given in your bag that represents you in a season of life, however that looks. Like I had one lady one time, she made a little guitar out of hers because she was loving music at the time and was about to take guitar lessons. So if you were that good, mine was not that good. I was like, okay, I think I have a heart, and that's okay for now. I'm not judging myself. But yeah, I just encourage you to play with these, use these to create something. And if we have a little bit of time, we'll maybe circle back and ask maybe what you made and what it represents for you right now in this season. So yeah, we try to give little tangible things to our students when we're in class with them, because some students, you know, they're going through stuff, they're having a difficult time, and even just looking up, making that eye contact can be a little challenging for them. But if they have something in their hands, whether it's this, we bring Play-Doh, we'll do Legos. Sometimes we'll just dump out a whole thing of Legos and say, go for it. Like create something, build something, and then that's when we notice the conversation starts happening, which is really neat. It's just a little more organic that way. Okay, so just to give you a couple of quick things, our mission at Mentor Me North Georgia is to empower students kindergarten through 12th grade through impactful mentoring relationships. We've noticed that these foster self-confidence, support academic success, strengthen social and emotional well-being, and promote personal growth. Our main goal is to help every child develop resilience and skills that they're going to need to thrive in school life and community. And I will say from personal experience, I do have 2 girls. I've mentored a couple more than this, but the ones that I've kept for the long haul that haven't had to move away or different things. I've got one that I've mentored since 7th grade, and she's going to be a senior at Forsyth Central. And then I've got another that I started mentoring in 6th grade, and she just graduated. And so I can just speak from personal experience on not just the difference that hopefully I made by being a consistent presence in their lives, but genuinely the difference that both girls actually have made in my life by choosing to share their stories with me. And kind of like you said about your mentor, they've given me different perspectives on things that I didn't really see coming. You know, like when we'll just have our casual conversations, and then they end up, I say, well, how do you feel about that? Or how's that going for you? And they'll say what's going on or their thoughts on how they would handle their dating relationship or what's going on with their mom. And it gives me a perspective where I'm like, I'm going to need to remember that because I've got a daughter coming up, right? And I want to be as impactful of a mother as I can be for her. And since these girls are a little bit older and they're saying this is what matters that their mom does or doesn't do for them, I want to make sure that I remember that as she continues to grow. Okay, we believe that every child and youth should have the equal opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of their financial situation or other extenuating circumstances. And so that's where the whole McKinney-Vento homeless population comes into play. We don't personally get those students information. However, the school staff obviously knows who some of those students are. And if they recognize that they might need some additional support, they'll encourage them to come into some of our programs. And that's just a really neat way that we can kind of provide some wraparound services. So whether they have academic struggles, learning gaps, below average reading, mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, language barriers, cultural isolation. Okay, research indicates that mentored youth are 55% more likely to enroll in college, 78% more likely to volunteer, 46% less likely to use drugs or participate in risky behavior, and 81% more likely to participate regularly in sports or extracurricular activities. How many of you have ever mentored another, like a student or a kid before? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so it's like I'm preaching to the choir right now. Do y'all mind sharing
Like, can you just say real quick, maybe, are you currently mentoring them? Or if this was a thing in the past, like, what did that look like for you? Did you enjoy that experience?
Yeah, I mentored a girl, I guess she was, it was first, second, and third grade at elementary school that, you know, my kids were in the middle school at the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. I mean, she moved away, so I was sad that I wasn't able to keep up with her anymore. But it was a program where, like every Friday I would go and meet her. You know, it's like the first part of her lunch.
Okay. I love that. And that was like the most formidable years too of her life. So that's a really beautiful thing. Yeah.
And can I say one thing real quick? You know, Kat, the little girl that I started with when she was 6, and now she just got married. But she showed up at my dad's funeral, and that's one of those things I'll never, ever forget. And she didn't have to. She didn't live that close to us. But she walked in that door, and like I could cry still thinking about it. You know, that was a compliment to me that she walked in that door. So we still have a great relationship. I have loved mentoring more than anything, as you know.
Yeah.
Very rewarding, very. When you have problems, you forget them because you're
Right.
trying to help them.
Right. Because you're able to be outward focused.
Yeah, and they help us get through some of our problems because we can let it go what's on our minds and focus on them.
Yeah, I love that, Susan.
Well, mine wasn't technically mentoring, but I was an inside out leader with
Oh,
high
awesome.
schoolers. So we mentored, but
Yes.
not.
That's a
very
whole nother
specific.
level. Oh,
Yeah.
no. You had like 15, 20 girls, bless you.
Yeah,
That's
I did that
awesome.
for the middle school.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and then I just think like, you know, I'm also in 12-step recovery and I sponsor like a lot of women, you know, and that's like just, you know, like you're saying, it's complete service work, you know, but it's also part of the recovery process for me, you know, like the service work of giving back. But then you're right, like what Susan's saying, it's like, it makes you like, you know, not focus on your own self, like.
And hopefully even, I know at least for me, sometimes I try to think even if I'm having a hard day and I'm like, I need to pull it together, you know, for my girl right now.
Yeah.
She's waiting for me to show up and I can't just verbally vomit, you know, all over her. Even though I still try to keep it real. If I'm having a hard day, right, I want to model for her, this is how you honestly say, I'm having a hard day and I'm gonna get through it doing these things, right? But yeah, just, I don't know, just being able to be there for them and be that consistent support is a really powerful thing. I love that you do that.
Yeah, they're like the phone rings and then you're like, okay, gotta, you know, it kind of takes you out of yourself.
Yes, yes.
And I think about, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And Scott, my husband, coaching, you know, coaching is a great mentor too. And Scott is a good man, so, you know, we have all kind of coaches.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he's been an amazing mentor to boys.
Yeah. And maybe to give them, I think what I was gonna say is to give them maybe what we didn't always get, you know, because there are some things, I did have some wonderful things happen early in my life. It wasn't all bad at all. And yet there were some gaps that needed to be filled. And so I go into some of my mentoring moments like that thinking, okay, what are some things that I just really wish that some woman would have done for me or said to me, right? That I didn't have to learn the hard way. Because I look back at some of my college days and I'm like, wow, I was a little naive in certain ways. And I know not everybody is, that was my thing, you know, but I'm like, I wish there would have been somebody, and maybe I should have done a better job asking, you know, but when you think about it, how many kids are good about advocating for themselves and saying, I'd like to mentor, please? Some are. Actually, one of the girls I mentored did, that is how we were paired up, because she went to the counselor's office and said, I think I need a mentor. And we were all blown away. We're like, yes, okay, that's amazing. And then the other girl, the mom advocated for her because of a really difficult situation. So, yeah. Anybody else saying they mentor?
Yeah, I was in the schools and I went through the school program and it was really cool because at the time my father kids were little, so I wasn't working, so I would just go in. And then years later, when I was a school social worker, like this probably was like 8-10 years later, I worked with the family and I worked with like the mom and her siblings. So it was like wrap around, it's cool. And then so I was able to, from a school's perspective, be able to support them. So yeah, it's cool that you can see them, like you were saying, in all different phases of life, like work with them and then maybe work with them and their kids or their parents or their friends. Yeah.
Great, I love that. Okay. So let me skip through some of this real quick because this is also in your impact report. I want to tell you really quickly about the other services that we offer.
I will say our model is volunteer driven, but professionally supported. Every child we serve is a future contributor to our community. So mentoring ensures they're prepared to lead and not just survive. And I feel like that sentence is really important, right? Is helping prepare our students. These are your strengths. Actually, with the program that I just ran this past year, we received some funding to do personality assessments, kind of like a strength finders type of thing for the students, so that they could learn, okay, this is what's true about me in the best way. Like, these are my natural positive attributes that I bring to a situation. And we just feel like that's so important, not just to give them a blanket encouragement, but to actually like allow them to take a test and say, okay, wow, you are really high in your love of learning. Or it says that you have a great sense of humor. Do you make people laugh often? You know, and start having those types of conversations with the students. And then you just see them come alive, because now you're speaking to them on a very personal level, instead of just one big group of people. Now I'm looking at you and I'm saying this is true about you and you should use that more. You know, because that's a wonderful thing. Yeah, sorry, I keep
thinking things.
No,
because I
go
can
ahead,
relate.
because you're in there, you're in
What
the
I
trenches.
loved when we did that was, a lot of kids that didn't have self-confidence, we could see them, kind of light up when they found their good trait, and they could bond with other kids in their class that maybe they didn't before.
Right.
So I love that part of it. The little quiet ones were just kind of coming out and saying,
Right.
hey, yeah, I'm good at that. And
Right.
that's fabulous.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because you know, there may be some kids in certain households where they don't know those things, right? Or they get really affirmed and loved on by their family or their teachers. But then there's a lot of kids, well, I feel like no one can get affirmed enough. That's my personal opinion, but I also do love words of affirmation. So maybe that's a neat thing. But then there are many students and kids, right, that we don't want them to have to wait until college, or they're an adult and they're at a job, and then their job provides an assessment for them to say, oh, these are my strengths. Why not let them know now? Why not have something that we can offer them when they're 10, 12, 15 years old, right? That says, these are some things that apparently are hardwired in you that are really great about you. You should consider trying to find work around this. Or it says that you're really great at navigating relationships. How does that look for you? Do you feel like you're really good at building friendships, sustaining them, having healthy relationships? And so just really digging in to those kind of deeper things with them. Okay, all our programs operate within Forsyth County in partnership with the school system and other community spaces. We received the Gold Partner of the Year award in 2022. Oh, we're not going to worry about that. And then our mentors live here, our students go to school here. The results of our work stays here, which we love and we're really grateful for, because we love this community and we want this community to thrive. We want everybody in it to be the best they can be. Okay, so our one-to-one mentoring program, I love this one so much. So for any of you that don't know about it yet, I'm going to tell you, give you a quick overview, and then if you have any student in mind once I share, please feel free. On our website, if you just go to it, there will be a button you can click that just says refer a student, and you can provide that information. And then our director over this particular program would reach out to the guardian or the parent to see if that's a step that they would like to take. It's a very, very thorough process, which obviously matters. It's important that we are that thorough. But basically what this program does is we pair a student, either from age 6 to 17, with a trusted adult. So it would be female with a female and a male with a male. But it is quite the process, because we will ask the mentor. So say one of you decides like, okay, that sounds interesting. I think I have a little bit of margin. I'll apply to be a one-to-one mentor. There would be a whole application you fill out, but then you could even give your preferences if you like. You know, you could even say, well, I'm an outdoorsy person, so I prefer to have a girl that likes to be outdoors, so we can maybe go hike together or walk, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Or, you know, this is like my religious affiliation. I would prefer to have a similar connection there so that we can have those types of conversations. You're allowed to say all of that in the application process, and we will do our best to pair you up accordingly. Now, obviously, there's some times where that just gets too tough. You know, if some people are listing many things, we might have to come back and say, okay, we do have some kids that are on the wait list. They don't perfectly match some of your criteria, but they match a few things. Are you okay with that? And more times than not, the adult will go, yeah, I'm good with taking that lead. The commitment is a minimum of a year.
And as Susan shared, it can go much, much longer than that and be ever so rewarding, right? You can go to their wedding one day. But most of them last at least a year, and we encourage an hour once a week. And the way that works is you can, if they play sports or they're in the band or whatever it is, you can show up for those things. You can take them out for ice cream. You can go pick them up if they don't have a ride, so that's not a barrier, right? We try to eliminate as many barriers as possible for this relationship to work. And we also, through Mentor Me, we provide monthly activities for you to bring your mentor to, or your mentee to, which is really fun. And normally the cost is taken care of, but we'll do different things throughout the year. We'll do bowling events, we'll do cornhole events. Sometimes we'll do like boat rides and things like that, things that maybe these kiddos aren't going to get to experience in their normal everyday life. And we have different organizations that will donate things to us, which is really fun. One of my friends through Leadership for Psych, he just donated a lot of Braves tickets, and we were able to send some mentors and mentees to go to a Braves game, which was cool. And I know the Focal Center has offered for mentors and mentees to come watch some of the performances and plays there free of charge. So different things like that is what the one-to-one mentoring program looks like. And right now, let me see if it has this up here. Okay, yeah, served 55 children and youth. Which is really great. And we're working on boosting those numbers even more, because honestly, when COVID hit, it's been hard to rebuild those numbers ever since. But we would love to see those get higher. Engaged 58 community volunteers and provided the 2,300 hours. All right, I've told you some about the Connect Club program. So yeah, this is what I do. I do go into a few elementary schools, a lot of the middle schools, and almost every high school in the county. And so it can be at all different times of the day, anywhere from like 45 minutes to an hour. And it's typically the same students once a month that we engage with and work with, because what we're really wanting to do is build those relationships and foster those relationships. And we've done different curriculum. So a couple years ago, we did something called Back Pocket. Has anybody heard of that before? The lady that developed that, it's pretty new, but actually her son was an addict and dealt with different things. And so from that, she developed this content that she felt like would be really helpful, well, for any teenager, but to give them basically like quick back pocket tools. That was kind of the idea of it. Like, here are some easy back pocket tools that when you start to feel stressed or triggered or frustrated, or you just need to kind of get grounded, here are some things that you can do that you should be able to do anywhere at any time. And so we implemented that a couple of years ago. And then we did via character assessments that I was telling you a little bit about this most recent year with our students. We're looking at doing some John Maxwell curriculum. Anybody familiar with him? The leadership guy? Okay, so it's called Habitudes, and that's going to be really neat. So we're hoping to enroll that this year for the students. Okay, we'll let you look at that. Well, I'll say engaged 515 elementary, middle, and high school students. We've got 26 volunteers with Connect Club here and there. Provided 251 service hours, so that's good. And let me see, mentoring after school. This is our third and final program with Mentor Me. This one's really neat. It's fun to go to because this involves all of our little kiddos, so the elementary kids. And so if they need any tutoring, if they need any help with math, reading, whatever it is, we encourage the teachers, the counselors, and the parents to have them come into our mentoring after school program. That's held at a lot of our schools here around the county, and we even now offer a summer mentoring after school, and that's at different libraries in the county. So we've even got some at the New Denmark Library, which is amazing, by the way. Like, that's my favorite place. I don't know what that means. I'm like, the fact that I love the library that much, I think it's a good thing. So we will use the library sometimes, and we pair up it can even be an 8th grader, I believe. I think that's the new age group we're allowing to do this through high school to adult. And you would get trained, and then you come one day after school for an hour, and you're paired up with a little elementary schooler, and you mentor them throughout the school year. And the way that looks is like the first 10 minutes, kind of hang out. How have you been doing? Because obviously we recognize that the school stuff and the lessons are important, but we also want that mentoring, social emotional component of checking in on them, letting them know, like, I am another adult that sees you, that cares about you, that hopefully will be someone that you can count on. And so we have a big bin of games that they love. So we'll give, like 10 minutes for them to pick any game they want, play that with their mentor. We have something called a Mindful Mini, which can kind of span all different things, but where you might have to roll the dice. It almost looks like a bingo card. I just did this with them actually. You roll the dice, and whatever number you rolled it on, you and your mentor have to do that. So one of them was like, hop on your leg for 20 seconds. And the other one was like, do 10 push-ups. And it was actually so cute because little kids love that sort of thing, right? They love, especially when they see adults have to do that sort of thing. So it got comical to look around the room and see some of those adults like, I did not sign up for this. Did not say I would have to do this. But we'll do things like that. And then they'll spend about the other half of the time, whether it's reading that they really struggle with, they'll have their own reading book, and you can track with them throughout the year and make sure that they're making progress. Or we've got math books, flashcards, sight words, things like that. So that is what that program offers. And those are our 3. Let me see if there's maybe 1 or 2 other slides before we wrap up to go through. Yeah, so I do love the numbers that Karina, I don't know how many of y'all have been able to meet her, but she's our coordinator over the Mentoring After School, and she's really great. And they've been able to serve 250 elementary students, engage 275 volunteers. So there are a lot of people involved to pull that off. Okay, so anyway, we obviously love anybody that's interested in kind of joining up with us, linking arms, and just trying to help make an impact and a difference in the kids in this community. So once you have a chance to look at your impact report, or if you have any questions for me before you head out about what it could look like to volunteer in one of those 3 areas, I would love to talk to you. Or if you I even encourage you, sometimes it might not be you personally, because I feel like most people that are in spaces like this, you're already doing so much, right? Like you're on this council, you're probably on 20 other councils. You are the executive director over other nonprofits. So you're probably tapped out, but if there is anybody else where this resonated and you're like, I could see them being an amazing mentor, I just encourage you to spread that, share that with them, because honestly, what better compliment? Like if someone came up to me and was like, Rachel, would you mentor so-and-so? That would mean the world to me. First of all, that they see something in me that they would want me to speak life into somebody they know. So just maybe think of one person today, because we are in need. And honestly, the school systems are too, and we partner with them. You mentioned you do the school-based, or you did the school-based mentoring. They also have a massive wait list of kiddos that either they volunteered themselves to be mentored, their counselor said they need it, their parents said they need it, but there just aren't enough adults. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there and say, hey, just talk to your circle of influence and see who you could just encourage with that. All right, you guys, I think that's the gist of it. Thank you so much for hearing me out. I know it's an early morning, but I appreciate your time and just letting me do that. That was a brand new PowerPoint we put together too, so thank you. That was my first time going through it. Actually, I'd read through it, but I hadn't officially presented it. So does anybody have any questions, thoughts?
I mean, I want to just tell you, in the school system as a social worker, I was constantly making referrals to you guys. And there was a family, gosh, it was out when I was a therapist, probably 15 years ago, that there was a little boy, and his mentor actually ended up adopting him. It was really cool.
That's interesting story.
Yeah, it was probably 10 years ago. Yeah, super cool. So you guys do really, really, just really good stuff.
It doesn't get better than that, right?
No, it was, yeah, because he was the one that could take him out of this environment, and it was a really traumatic environment. There were lots and lots of kids, lots of abuse, lots of neglect, lots of just everything. And he was, he was one of the lucky ones to get out. And it was only by the grace of, his mentor, which was cool.
And one other quick thing, it doesn't quite compare to that, but it just came back to me, just a quick personal story. One of my girls at East Forsyth High in my Connect program at the end of last year, and she was pretty shy, but she came up to me and handed me a handwritten note. Who does that anymore? How amazing is that? So first of all, it took me a minute. I'm like, she wrote that, she didn't type it or whatever. She handwrote this out. And then she had, like a piece of paper where she had done watercolor and done flowers, like a bouquet of flowers for me. And on the paper, it just said, basically, like, I just want you and the team to know that this was a game changer for me, because I have some stuff going on at home to where I wasn't wanting to show up for school very much at all, but I knew y'all would wonder where I was, that Mentor Me would care and notice when I'm not here. And she said, and the fact that y'all make me feel like a kid, like I can come here and feel like a kid again, and that is part of our goal. You know, and I think we all, even as adults, we need to do things to feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
We really do.
And it is, it's such a fun, I
Yeah.
love it, I love it so much. It does. But it is such a great organization, everybody's like you, but you're my favorite, but.
I appreciate that, Susan. We do have fun. That was good of you to say while I'm right here.
We laugh together, cry together, and all that stuff.
Yes, no, we have.
And I've been known to follow kids from one school to the other. If I get attached to one and he's going to that school, I'm like, can I go to that school?
Yeah.
I wanna take so many of them home, I can't even think about it. I mean, some of them I just love so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you all so much. Thank you. You have t-shirts over here, so please feel free. If you just want a free t-shirt, I try to bring one of every size, so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I guess I'll send out flyers and we can see you next month, right?
Better wiki things.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at her. Of course, I did a run. Remember at the banquet, our table was the plastic.
Oh, you do. I went direct to the lunch
Right. The administration women all the makes my grants, so they're all like, oh gosh, but they. Because it's youth. I'm trying to do it through around projects, I think now I have like. But it's.
It was done.
I'm so happy, yes, it was such a good year. Like, I think I mean, like 2 weeks.
I was sitting there trying to make flowers because I like to make flower arrangements. And I hear yours and I
I started with like 8 bulbs 10 years ago, and now I have like 300.